Hey there, it's At Your Own Risk, the Copilot podcast. We're going into episode 10, and I'm pretty excited that that we've gotten this far, and that I've been able to share content, and you guys are obviously listening to it, and I do appreciate. I've gotten some great feedback on just people personally, out in public and out at stuff, saying that they enjoy it, and they're looking forward to obviously whatever's next, what my next story is, and what I'm looking to share as far as when it comes to being a co-pilot. And I know that my last episode was in Spanish, and it got off to a slow start, obviously, because it is more towards the Hispanic and Mexican individuals that obviously can understand Spanish. I will say that it was pretty cool that I did have an individual from Ensenada reach out to me. His name is Sergio Nunez, and he listened to the podcast, and he was very positive, and I appreciate that he listened to it, and then he went ahead and shared it on his own IG, as well as a podcast that he runs. It's called the podcast Off Road. It's in Spanish. If you want to go follow it and listen to some of his stuff, his IG is the off road underscore podcast. You can find him there, and that's the podcast that they run. He's also a navigator. He's a co-pilot, and again, it's the podcast off road. If you guys want to go follow that and listen to some more stuff in Spanish for those people out there that understand it and want to hear something maybe a little bit more different than what I'm saying. But I'm hoping that too in the near future, I'll either have Sergio on here, make another Spanish podcast, and vice versa. I'm hopefully I'll end up on his podcast as well and share my stuff on his. Um, and I know I've been getting some questions. One of what team am I racing with this year, this season? And so far, I have not committed to one team. I've obviously raced the Parker race last month in January with David Ziegler in his Brenthel truck. I have another ride coming up on February 22nd, which is, of all things, pretty cool for me because February 21st is my birthday, and I'll be racing the next day. So I'm excited for that I'm getting that opportunity to race a day right after my birthday. And I guess I might as well say it. It is my 50th birthday, that February 21st. And I'm looking forward to it. I'm feeling good. I don't feel that old, and I feel still that I got a lot of life in me, and I'm excited for that. So on top of that race, I have been also reached out to race the Min 400. Looks like I'll be racing on Friday. If I do commit to race the Min 400, it'll be on Friday. And then the big trucks, the trophy trucks and spec trucks race on Saturday. So who knows? Maybe on that one I get to race on 2 days, Friday and Saturday, maybe, possibly. So I'm not opposed to that. I've done that before, especially for the Mint. So yeah. So as of right now, unfortunately, I'm not committed to be on one team so far. I know after that, after the Mint, will be the San Felipe 250. So, and hopefully I'll have a ride by then. I do not know. I just keep doing what I do and having fun with the teams that do invite me and give me the opportunity to ride with them. I know how blessed and just what a great opportunity it is to do that. And again, not everybody gets to do that, and I do not take anybody that extends an invitation to me for granted. I appreciate it so greatly, and I do my best to keep at it and hopefully keep doing the right job. So I'll keep doing. I'll keep, like I said, I'll keep taking whatever opportunity I'm handed at this point. Again, I'm very fortunate that I've already got one race this year. Second one will be in about 12 days, 12 13 days from when I'm talking about this. So then that'll be the Parker on February 22nd. So that's a Legacy Racing Series, and that's the first race for their series. So I know I've seen the list, and there's a lot of trucks in the spec class signed up for that, and that's where I'll be racing. I'll be racing a spec truck, hopefully for that, and then it'll be the Mint 400. So I'm looking forward to that, and I'm excited. But yes, if you need somebody, I know the other thing I'm signed up is for the Nora 1000, the 6-day race with Jim Greenway. I'm looking forward to that as well. I think he is too. We had a blast last year, so I'll keep doing that. And then so that's where I'm at as far as what races I have coming up and what I am currently committed to do. Again, I'm not opposed to anybody reaching out to me and saying they want to talk to me or see how I can help them. I'm also available if you have a navigator that wants some tips, some information. Again, I'm not a professional. I have 15 years experience, and I'm always willing to help anybody, man. If they want to know, learn, um, even if you're listening to this and you have a question that you might have and want to know what to do, I'll give you my advice. I'll give you what I can share and what I've done. So I'm not opposed to that. I'd love to anybody that has a question or anything else to reach out to me. They can reach out to me on Instagram. They can reach out to me on Facebook or even on the YouTube channel on the question. Just any way I can help anybody in any way. I know this last week, I had some people ask me if I had any old maps for the snow race coming up on February 15th, I think, and I do. I have a lot of old files that I'm willing to share, and it doesn't have any special notes on them. Most of them, the special notes I probably have created in something else. So, but I have maps. If you ever think of, hey, maybe he might have one, just shoot me a message on Instagram. If I have the file, I will gladly send it to you. All I need is your email and on there, and I'm willing to help you. I'm telling you, this is not. I'm not professional. I'm not like I'm willing to do whatever it is that could help any individual out there and help their team do a better, but just do a better job. So again, I'm more than willing to help. One of the interesting things too, obviously, besides being asked, there's been a couple questions that I've been asked, and one is what teams, because I've been doing this for 15 years, so I actually have a list of all the teams since 2011 that I've been with up to 2025, which is this year, which is my 15th year. So, and from 2011, 2012, 2013, 2014, I was with Bantam Motorsports. That was in Trophy Light. So I did the best that I could with them, and then they moved on. And I want to say no, they didn't sell the truck. They just they were done after that year, and they had done enough, and or at least felt like they were. And Brian, I still know him. He's actually racing now in like circuit courses up in California somewhere. So he's still racing now. I think he got back into it. I know he's got some kids that he's getting into racing as well now. So it's always cool to see that. And I follow him on Instagram and other stuff, and it's just awesome to see him doing that stuff with his own boy and his family, and that he's still racing too is pretty cool. So who knows? Maybe that kid will need a navigator someday when he decides to go off road racing. I'll still be available. So, but anyway, so then so from 2011 to 2014, I was with Battle Motorsports. Had a great time. And then in 2015, I didn't have a ride in 2015, and it was pretty. It was kind of cool for me because I got to help some good friends um, and PJ Guglielmo, or well, I'm going to butcher your name, buddy. PJ from Children of the Dirt, and I helped them pit for a race, and then I was going to get in a truck for the Mint 400 with them, and I didn't end up getting in the truck, but I helped them in the pits as well. That year, that was what year was that? That was 2015. Was that 20? Yeah, that was 2015, and they actually ended up winning the Mint 400 that year in the trophy light class. And so I think right after that race, I ended up um, I ended up with Metro Motorsports with Jeff Proctor. Jeff Proctor had Metro Motorsports trophy light truck. So in 2015, I ended up with Jeff, and it was pretty cool. I ended up getting in the truck with him the very next race, which was the Silver State 300. I think, yeah, Silver State 300, and I'm pretty sure I have that plaque somewhere up here somewhere up there. And it was cool because he had not finished in the podium yet while he was racing, and then the very first race I got in with him, which was the 2015 Silver State 300. We ended up podium, I think, third place. First race that I got in with him. That was a ton of fun, and that was a great year for us. I think we're battling for the championship for a while there, and then I think at the end, I don't remember where we finished in the end, but so 2015, I was with Metro Motorsports, and then that year, I think it was the year. I'm pretty sure it was. Jeff was either getting the Honda program started on the Ridgeline truck, or he had it going already. Something that was he was going to have to do. So he ended up selling that truck that I was in to the McKnights and McKnight Racing. And so when he sold the truck, what was pretty cool for me was the McKnights basically looked at me and said, "Well, what are you doing?" And I said, "Well, I can go with the truck if you guys need me." So I raced with them for 2 years in 2016 and 2017. I raced with the McKnights for 2 years, right after in the same truck that Metro Motorsports had. So I basically knew the whole truck, and it was a trophy light as well. So and then 2017 was the last year with the McKnights, 16 and 17, and then the 2018 and 2019, I was with Kyle Chavez of Double Lucky Racing. In I think 2019, we raced. I know we raced code. I think we were racing mainly code races, and in 2018 and 2019, and then in 2019 we actually won the class, the turbo class at code for the 2019 year, and that was a lot of fun. I mean, that was pretty cool. And maybe it was 2018. Maybe one of those 2 years, we ended up winning the championship for the year at Code. And I'm gonna tell you, Code is an awesome racing. Uh, they put on some great races, and they're in Mexico. So I think I've talked about this before. They have a lot of sections that you run through, like the Baja 500, Baja 1000, a couple of those. And it's just a lot of fun to run those races. And Joaquin just does an awesome job of running the code series. So kudos to those guys. They've done a great job, and I know even from watching stuff on social media and stuff, they still do an awesome job. And I recommend anybody that wants to go race a Mexico race, go do it with code. You won't be disappointed. It's an awesome opportunity. So 2018, 2019, I raced with Double Lucky Racing. And then in 2020 was when the Honda Talons came up, and I was offered a ride with my goodness. Elliott. So Elliott Watson, and also Christopher Palardi was one of the other drivers. So there was two drivers on the Talon program, and so I was Elliott's navigator for one race, and um, then I decided to move on. So that year, so in 2020, I started with Honda Talon. They did the King of the Hammers. I was not very versed when it came to doing the rock climbing, because that's what they were going to do, was doing the rock climbing. So I kind of stood back, and they invited a seasoned navigator for the King of the Hammers race, and I never got in the vehicle itself. And then so that was in 2020, and then in 2020, right after that, I ended up with Joe Fidos from Fidos Motorsports. So from 2020 to 2023, which is 4 years, I spent with Joe Fidos. Half of it was in the trophy light truck, and half of it was in his UTV, the Can-Am UTV that Lone Star built for him, and that was a ton of fun. So, and then in 2024, which was last year, I raced with Mellon Motorsports, Wyatt Mellon. I did the Nora 1000, and then I got to do the Nora 500, and then the Baja 1000 that I just did last year, that we finished in second place with Jordan Brenthal's truck. So that has been my career so far in the 15 years. Again, this year, 2025, I've done one race so far. I have a couple other ones coming up, and so that's what I've done. It's been mostly trucks and UTVs, and now I'm very fortunate to be given opportunities to get into the spec trophy truck class, and it's a competitive class. It's a lot of fun. So that's what I've done so far. And so the other question on top of all these years that you've raced, all these teams that you've helped, um, I've also, in some of those years, I don't even remember what year it was. I'm looking at my calendar as far as year by year. One of the years I know it was, I want to say maybe it was 2022 or 2021. One of those years I actually got to race 12 races in one year. And I want to say it had to have been with maybe 6 or 7 different teams that year. And that was pretty awesome, because it was just from one race to the next, and one weekend to the next weekend racing. And I had an opportunity to go do that, and so I took it, and that was a lot of fun. But again, that was a lot of races, and it was a lot of fun. But on top of that, like I said, I've helped other teams. I've helped Jeep Speed teams. I've helped the 1600, obviously, in the Nora. And so one of the big questions that gets asked to me about is, what is the difference in the suspension? Like, what is the difference in the way your body takes the pun, or what is the biggest difference that you've noticed now that you've gone into spec truck, that you're having to worry about things? And I'm going to tell you, from starting from I'm not going to say the bottom, but starting from the trophy light class to where I am now with the spec trucks, you have to change so many things in your brain of what it is you're doing. And let me just, in simple terms, when you're either in a UTV or a trophy light truck, you're always trying to find the line less, beat up. And it almost seems like in the spec class, you're just trying to find the straight line. It doesn't matter how broken up or beat up it is. You're literally trying to find the straightest line to get you to point A to point B as quick as possible. On top of that, getting from point A to point B as quick as possible in a spec trophy truck feels amazing. You don't feel anything. I mean, at least the trucks I've been in, and if I'm exaggerating, maybe somebody can clear this, but I'm telling you, the difference from being in a spec truck than a trophy light or even a UTV, is just, I mean, day and night. It's crazy. So I'll start from the bottom, right? Like from when I started in trophy lights. In trophy light trucks, there was suspension, but not a lot. You didn't have a lot of horsepower because you were running a 4-cylinder Ecotech motor. And one of the things you were always trying to do is find literally the smoothest line, so it's not beat up. So you're always kind of moving right, left, right, trying to figure out what's going to be the fastest line. And the biggest fear of being in a trophy light was getting into silt beds. Silt beds were just killers, man. I mean, I got to a point where some of the silt beds that we ended up in were up all to my knees, of just how much dirt there was, how much silt there was stacked there, and that was horrible. That was like the worst ever. Like it was such a lost feeling that you had of like, what the heck am I doing? So so the biggest thing with the trophy light trucks was just literally trying not to get stuck in a silt bed was probably my biggest fear. Um, Changing a tire, most of the time I did it by myself. It was always, I'd jump out, get it done, and get back going. I had luckily, when I was with Bantle, they made me practice a lot to get as fast of a tire change as possible. And it's funny because I'll run into Leo, one of our guys that was in the crew, and he still beats me up because we lost a race by like 23 seconds or something like that. And that was, I mean, that was a tire change, right? It's like, and he still beats me up. Leo still beats me up when he sees me, and says, he says, I hope you're better now, but which I think I am. But yeah, that was the biggest thing was changing a tire, and obviously getting stuck in either a silt bed or any kind of other thing. So when it came to the trophy light trucks, the biggest thing was always trying to find the right area. The suspension was rough, and I think the longest I was ever in a trophy light truck, it had to have been, I think, maybe 15, 16 hours, and it was about a 600-mile race. I remember that. And that was, I'm trying to see if one of these awards back here will remind me, but it was like a 600-mile race. I want to say it's those ones that like would be split up, but I think that one didn't get split up. It was all one day. And that was the longest race I had. I think that was with Joe Fidos, and we both did it on our own. I think he drove the whole thing, and I navigated the whole thing with him. So that was pretty cool. That was a great accomplishment on my part, as far as you know, for me personally. And then, so then, so the trophy lights. That's what the biggest thing was. The suspension beats you up. You come out pretty tired out of one of those trucks. Even if you have like the best suspension you can, you still come out pretty beat up just because your average speed is not fast, so you're in that truck a long time with the races. I think I remember racing in a trophy light in one of the Baja 1000 races too. That it rained a lot. I want to say it was 2022. 2022. Yeah, 2022, I think it was. Yeah, the one that where it rained and it got delayed to the race started on Saturday or Friday or whatever day they normally where they moved it down one day. That one was tough. That one was tough. That was a long day. Just once we started, it was just trying to get through the puddles and the rain in a 2-wheel drive vehicle, 4-cylinder Ecotech motor. That was not fun. So that was an interesting one. So again, trophy lights, they're fun. It definitely comes down to the driver and the navigator. They handle well. you have a little bit more time to respond just because they're a little bit slower. But again, they're a ton of fun, and I know they're still racing. There's still a bunch of trucks out there. And then so that's the trophy light truck. And then moving to UTV. UTVs, are obviously you're getting fast and faster. When I started, I mean, you were still going 100 miles, 110 maybe at the most. But those things are, I mean, they're just evolving to a different animal at this point. What it seems like with seeing the races recently. And in the UTVs, luckily there's a lot of give. There's a lot of adjusting you can do to your suspension to make obviously things a little bit smoother. So uh, UTVs, I would say they don't beat you up as bad. You're still going to get beat up, but if I'm gonna compare that from a trophy light to a UTV and to now running in a spec truck, I will tell you, running a spec truck is like luxury at this point. When I did the Parker race last month with David Ziegler, we did a complete 134 mile lap. Didn't feel like anything. Didn't feel. I mean, it was like that's it. Like we just did a full lap in whatever time it was. But as far as my body, my mind, my anything like that, it was like nothing. It was so comfortable. Um, and even some of the rough section stuff that I would normally would have tried to avoid in either a trophy light or even a UTV. UTVs are still trying to find too. One of the things with the UTV is you're also trying to find the smoother line, just because you don't want to get beat up too bad, because you will get beat up. I know I've seen some guys out there that obviously go straight through it as well, and I'm sure they've done a lot more work on their suspension or something. But I remember from my days, we were always looking to see the better line to get through somewhere. So, um, so the UTV definitely is a step up when it comes to comfort and as far as how bad you're going to get beat up. I would say it's a lot better. But obviously, overall, the I mean, once you get in the spec truck, geez, it's um, it's a big difference. The cool thing too, actually, I will say, is from starting from a trophy light, which your speeds you're coming in a corner not as hard and fast as you're coming in with a UTV, which is a little bit faster, and you're coming into a corner, maybe 15, 20 miles faster into a corner. And then you step up into a spec truck and you're coming into a corner maybe 30, 40 miles faster. That in itself is a mental thing of like you're just adjusting how you're giving information, how quickly that the driver can take. And so that's another one. It's the way you give out information definitely changes. Even though it's a lot more comfortable, so you almost have to kind of make sure you stay on your toes when you're in a spec truck, because you're almost too comfortable, per se, because it is comfortable. And I'm not gonna, I'm just gonna say to me it's super comfortable, but maybe it's because of where I've started to where I am now, right? I mean, it would make a huge difference, but I'm telling you, from those three stages of where I started to where we're in the middle, and then now to spec truck, it's huge. One of the things that is different, obviously, too, is the jack. Like in the trophy lights, you had a jack. In the UTV, you had a jack. And in the spec trucks, depending on what truck you're getting in, they have built-in jacks. So that's one less thing you're going to have to worry about. All you kind of worry about is getting the truck up, taking the tire off, putting the new tire on, and slapping the tire back on to the vehicle, so you don't get penalized for leaving it out when you're running in the U.S. Races. I know Mexico's a little different, but so yeah, so that's as far as my comparison of like all three of those. Though I think the biggest thing is there's some good evolution to a navigator, especially if they start in the lower class to upper. There's a lot of information that you've probably already been able to see at slower speeds that then you can start to share into faster speeds. And I think that's a big one. I think that's you know, one of the thing. I think one of the worst. And I've been like in the. I mean, I've also been in the 1600 with Jim Greenway at the Nora. And that thing. I'm gonna tell you, in that 1600, I was actually surprised at how well the suspension on that thing was. I thought I was going to be very beat up, and I didn't. It was a fun race, and I'm looking forward to it again. But one of the I haven't done a Class 11, so but one of the probably the most uh, ride that I ever got beat up in has to been a Jeep Speed. I did help somebody in a Jeep Speed once at a race out in Barstow, kind of last minute. And I said, what the hell? So I went, and I was not aware that it was a Jeep Speed until I got there. And that was horrible. That was so bad. And then on top of that, I still remember on that Jeep Speed, because I can't forget it, because the ride was just like, oh my gosh, what am I doing? The GPS was up on the top, like on the top area, instead of like right in front of me. It was up on top, so you had to look up to look at where you were going. And at some point in the middle of the race, it was a night race too. I think it was a KC Midnight Special or something like that. And what ended up happening was the GPS ended up flipping upside down somehow. So when we were heading up, we were heading down. So if the corner was coming, going left, um, it would look like you were going right on the opposite screen, because it was pointing down. So it was kind of like you had to think about it. But that one was on top of the GPS. The ride itself was it was brutal. So yeah, so that's what I wanted to share. I had people asking me, "Hey, what's the difference between everything you've ever ridden?" And I tell them, well, being a spec truck is super super luxury. So I would um, that is my favorite ride now. And I mean, doesn't mean I'm not going to help anybody else. Trust me, I'm still going to get if somebody needs me to help them, I'm going to help them if I can. But I am going to have a preference to get in a spec trophy truck if at all possible. So that's it. I just wanted to share those couple of things, obviously of myself, and I really appreciate the people that ask me the questions and give me kind of some way to share the information of what they want to learn, what they want to know about me. Again, if you guys have any questions, any other things you want to throw at me, tell me, share with me. If you guys want me to send you something from, maps or whatever, or some information that I may have, I will gladly share that type of information. I think we are all on this earth to make each other better. And I think if we can do that, the world becomes a better place. So I'm just, again, blessed and appreciate those that listen to this show and what I share. And again, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, shoot them to me at, on Instagram at Daniel Plaza 1, on my Facebook, Daniel Plaza, or even Instagram at Copilot Mafia as well. Just reach out to me. And again, I appreciate everybody. And we'll see you next time. So, see what I got. So, all righty. Thank you, guys.